Greetings, traveler, make yourself comfortable. Today we shall tell you a tale about First War in the Nine Worlds, a war between Aesir and Vanir. In the Nine Worlds, gods and goddesses usually belong to one of two groups, the Aesir and the Vanir. Throughout most of the Norse tales, deities from the two groups get along fairly easily. It is hard to pin down firm distinction between them. But there was a time when that wasn't the case. The Vanir goddess Freyja was known as a foremost practitioner of the art of Seidr, a form of magic relating to both the telling and shaping of the future. Under the name Gullveig, she eventually came to Asgard, the home of the Aesir. The Aesir were quite taken by her powers and zealously sought her services. But soon they realized that the values of honor, kin loyalty, and obedience to the law were being pushed aside by the selfish desires they sought to fulfill with the witch's magic. Blaming Freyja for their own shortcomings, the Aesir attempted to murder her. 3 times they tried to burn her, and 3 times she was reborn from ashes, becoming known as Heidr. Because of this, the Aesir and the Vanir came to hate and fear one another, and these hostilities erupted into war. The Aesir fought by the rules of plain combat with weapons and brute force, while the Vanir used the subtler means of magic. The war went on for some time, with both sides gaining the upper hand by turns. In this war, fortifications of Asgard were breached by the Vanir in a section where they were constructed by the Aesir. Eventually, the two groups of divinities became wary of fighting and decided to call a truce. As was customary among the ancient Norse and other Germanic people, the two sides agreed to pay tribute to each other by sending hostages to live among the other tribe. Freyja, Freyr, and Njord of the Vanir came to Aesir, and Hoenir and Mimir went to the Vanir. Njord and his children seem to have lived more or less in peace in Asgard. Unfortunately, the same can't be said of Hoenir and Mimir in Vanaheim. The Vanir immediately saw that Hoenir was seemingly able to deliver incomparably wise advice on any problem. But they failed to notice that this was only when he had Mimir in his company. Hoenir was actually a rather slow-witted simpleton who was at a loss for words when Mimir wasn't available to counsel him. After Hoenir responded to the Vanir's entreaties with the unhelpful "let others decide" one too many times, the Vanir thought they had been cheated in the hostage exchange. They beheaded Mimir and sent the severed head back to Asgard, where the distraught Odin chanted magic poems over the head and embalmed it in herbs. Thus preserved, Mimir's head continued to give indispensable advice to Odin in times of need. The two tribes were still wary of fighting a war that was so evenly matched. That's why, rather than renewing their hostilities over this tragic misunderstanding, each of the Aesir and Vanir came together and spat into a cauldron. From their saliva they created Kvasir, the wisest of all beings, as a way of pledging sustained peace. And like this, the first war in the Nine Worlds was ended. And that will be all for today about First War in the Norse mythology. I hope you like the story. Let me know what you think about this tale and the conflict between the gods. Come here again, we have a lot of stories to tell.